Okay, everybody, time to flip it over to the other side now and talk about the defense according to Pro Football Focus. Once again, not saying that Pro Football Focus always gets it right or that they always get it wrong. I just think it's good to look at what they have to say because they do put a lot of work into this. Now, please thumbs up this video, subscribe if you're new, click the bell for notifications, become a channel member for $2. Those are the best ways to support the channel. All right. So there's one big thing that stands out in a positive way when you take a look at this defensive PFF grading chart. Josh Jobe. And on a day where Rick Woolen basically got 95% of the Seahawks fan base to turn on him, I think it's very, very interesting and very, very noticeable that Josh Jobe showed up like this and played probably the best game of his career. Not that that's saying a ton because he hasn't had a super long career, but my God, 90 grade overall, 90.2 in coverage, and it's on 61 snaps. It's not like he played 15 snaps or something. That is probably something that we need to be seeing a little bit more of going forward. I know some people were hard on Josh Jobe last year, but I thought he was pretty good. And in the absence of Emin Wari, who got hurt very early in this game, I think that maybe we learned something about Jobe. Maybe he's better than we thought. And maybe, just maybe, when Emin Wari gets back, Jobe needs to be pushing Woolen for some playing time, if not just the starting job, period. I don't want to overreact too much to one game, but it's not just one game with Woolen. This has been going on for a little while now. He's been a frustrating player for at least a year, maybe more, if you want to be completely literal with things going back to 2023, and it's hard not to think about it. There's a big drop-off after that, but they also gave very good grades to Ernest Jones, Nick Emenwari, which doesn't mean much because he played 4 snaps and got hurt, and Big Cat always coming through for you, 60 snaps, which that shouldn't be happening, by the way. Way too many snaps defensively, but we're used to it, I guess. 70.2. So those would be the other standout defenders. And then we had a group of guys who, according to PFF, did fairly well. Boye Mafe, Devin Witherspoon, Derek Hall, and Drake Thomas didn't play that much, but when he did play, they thought he played all right. Byron Murphy, Mike Morris, and Quentin Bohanna, who didn't play a lot either, but they did do okay according to PFF. So these guys, these guys all did their job, but I think this kind of speaks to the frustration point with this Seahawks defense. Where are the superstars? Maybe Leonard Williams is a superstar, but where are the other superstars? This is what has been lacking in Seattle for a little while now. Where are the guys who are going to just take over games? We needed a guy to take over that game yesterday. And while Josh Jobe played great, I don't think he took the game over. Ernest Jones played great. I don't think he took the game over. We're waiting for guys like Devin Witherspoon or Boye Mafe or Derek Hall to take that step. We're waiting for a guy like Byron Murphy to be put in a position where he can take over. Not really happening yet. And that's kind of why we're here where we are right now. A couple of guys relatively anonymously graded, which surprises me. We had DeMarcus Lawrence, Julian Love, and Jaron Reed. I thought all those guys played good. I'm a little bit surprised they both got docked so heavily. Also a little bit surprised, although I do agree that he didn't have a great game, was Tyrese Knight gets graded very poorly. Now, he's coming back from an injury. I understand that there's some things he's working through, but still. Before I go any further into this, I want to tell you a little bit about my friends over at Sleeper. Have you heard about the Sleeper app? It is the best way to experience and connect over sports together with other users. It's a one-stop shop for all your sports needs. Go download the app now. You can celebrate and chat on games in real time with others. You can get the fastest scores, news, and alerts, all that right at your fingertips. And of course, you can play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. So you can enjoy sports the way they were meant to be, together. Download the #1 sports app today. And when you go, use promo code SBN, that is SBN, and you'll get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. So check out Sleeper today. Don't forget promo code SBN. I would not have expected him to be so close to the bottom here. I would not have expected him to be earning such a bad grade. Kobe Bryant also gets a pretty bad grade. He doesn't stand out positively in any one area. And then Reek Woolen, well-deserved, right at the bottom here. Maybe the score should be even lower. They actually gave him some points for run defense and tackling, which is the deepest irony here. I think we all would have been very happy if he had missed a few tackles yesterday, if it had meant coming through when he needed to in coverage. And Ty Okada, no surprises here, one of the worst graded Seahawks in the entire game. 30 overall, can't tackle, can't cover. He shouldn't be out there. It's not really his fault. And missed tackles, by the way, I wanted to highlight this. This was much messier than any preseason game. We had double-digit missed tackles. 11 missed tackles in this game. Not terrible, but I would call it pretty bad. Tyrese Knight had 2. Kobe Bryant had 1. Okada had 1. DeMarcus Lawrence had 1, which contributes to the lackluster grade. Drake Thomas had 1 on limited snaps. Witherspoon had 2. This is not what I need to be seeing from Witherspoon, by the way. And I'm not saying he played a bad game. I don't think that he did, but I don't need to see him missing tackles like this. Mafe, Big Cat, Ernest Jones. It was not the tackling clinic that we saw through much of the preseason. I'll just put it to you that way. And it's not a great sign. It's not a great sign. Run defense grades. The run defense overall for the Seahawks was not bad. They did keep San Fran under 3.5 yards per carry. And you can see some of the architects of that. I want to give a shout out here because he wasn't graded well, but DeMarcus Lawrence, 4 run stops, playing kind of that outside linebacker / big edge type role. That's not easy to do. I don't know how many times a player like a Boye Mafe or Uchenna Nwosu would be getting 4 run stops, not just run tackles, but run stops in one game. So that is really, really good. I like what I see here. I'm really excited about that. That's something that I can take away from this game. DeMarcus Lawrence doing his job against the run over and over again. Average depth of tackle, less than a yard. And then you had other players do really well against the run. Big Cat, average depth of tackle, negative 1.5 yards, 2 stops. Ernest Jones doing his thing as well. Effective. Not farming a bunch of tackles that don't mean anything. He's getting some tackles that actually matter. Emin Wari, heartbreaking to see him go down like that so early in the game, but he did come up with a run stop in his very short period of time in the game. And Love, Knight, Witherspoon, this is why I'm a little bit surprised these guys got docked so heavily. I know they missed some tackles as well, but I'm looking at this and thinking to myself, that's pretty significant coming from a guy who didn't even play every snap and a couple of defensive backs. And then you've got near the bottom here, you do have some concerns, like Boye Mafe. They didn't think he was good against the run. Kobe Bryant, now he's a free safety, I understand, but he's in a McDonald defense, not good against the run. And then 2 of your key interior defensive linemen, Murphy and Reed, you're counting on these guys to be meaningful contributors for you. According to Pro Football Focus, they played the run badly. And look, Murphy's playing out of position. He's playing a lot of nose tackle. He's in that 0 gap right now. Not 0 gap, a gap. I don't like it. But, I mean, it is what it is at this point. And Jaron Reed, if we're going to be playing him at 3 tech, I need a little bit more, or else why don't those 2 guys just swap places? All right, so that's the run defense. Let's look at some pass rush stuff. According to PFF, and you guys know how I feel about PFF with their pass rush stuff, I think that it's way too generous. We actually got after Purdy pretty consistently. There was actually a good amount of pressure on Brock Purdy. It wasn't graded overly well because it didn't result in sacks. It was a lot of empty pressures probably. And that's why even though we had 21 pressures, you can see that only 5 of 12 guys actually got graded 66 or better. We had a lot of guys here who were graded poorly despite getting multiple pressures in pass rushing. So Derek Hall, right? He's the highest graded pass rusher at 72. That's really not that great. And he has 1 QB hit on 19 opportunities. right? Julian Love, a guy who came on a safety blitz a couple times in this game and picked up a sack, was our second highest graded pass rusher. That's I think that speaks to a big part of the problem here. You accrued a lot of pressures, but they didn't actually benefit the team as much as you need pressures to. Boye Mafe did come in up big with the 5 QB hurries. I'll give him props. He gave Trent Williams a lot of problems. But again, how much was the impact of those pressures? I'm sure there was some impact, but you can't say he took the game over. There were opportunities for him to maybe make some game-saving plays, game-winning plays, and it didn't happen. 5 QB pressures is great, but if you're not actually getting to the quarterback physically, the impact is muted. Byron Murphy, 3 pressures, mostly playing in the 3 gap, in the nose tackle area, which just speaks to how good of a pass rusher he can be. Getting to the quarterback 3 times and disrupting him in one game, mostly playing in the A gap, is really good, and it speaks to how good it could be if we would just do things a little bit more intelligently, and it might be too late. It might be too late for us to do that. I don't know. Drake Thomas, pressure. Jaron Reed, a couple of pressures. But you can see we're already getting to the point where these guys are getting dinged. Like, look at DeMarcus Lawrence. He comes up with 2 pressures, including a quarterback hit. He still gets punished because they just don't think it was very efficient, and they probably don't think it was very impactful. Same with Ernest Jones, who was effective on the blitz in this game. Witherspoon came up with a QB hurry in this game, but they still gave him a below-average grade. Leonard Williams, despite his impact on the game as a pass rusher, only a 60. Jaron Reed's kind of the same thing. So what do these pressures amount to? Over the course of a game, you'd hope it adds up to something, but I wonder if in that game, like, Brock Purdy's interceptions came with basically no pressure. Something to think about. And coverage, this is where things got really ugly for the Seahawks. The coverage stuff was rough. And I don't think they did a terrible job overall against Purdy, but by the end of that game, he had almost 300 yards. He did. And you can see how they got there. It was mostly by some pretty ugly stuff. Like Josh Jobe, put him in Canton. Put him in Canton. 5 targets, 1 catch, 1 yard allowed. That's insane. That's insane. Josh Jobe basically comes in off the bench because we don't have the players that we wanted to have or expected to have, and he holds the Niners to 1 yard on 5 targets. Absolute insanity. But other than that, there was some punishment doled out. Ernest Jones, yeah, he had the pick, but he also gave up 67 yards. I'm not here to fry him for that. I'm not, because you're talking about 9 targets to get those 67 yards, and Ernest Jones is not a great cover player, so it is what it is. But there was damage done. Devin Witherspoon, what's up here? 5 targets, 35 yards. I definitely need something a little bit better. I know that there were some extenuating circumstances in this game, but I do need something a little more impactful than this. Drake Thomas, whatever, it's one play, 7 yards. But Kobe Bryant, contract year for him, 3 targets, 43 yards, sub 53 grade. That's not getting it done. Julian Love didn't get targeted once this whole game, which I don't know if I agree with. I thought he got targeted once against, I think it was Juszczyk had a catch on him, but they're not giving it to him for some reason. So there you go. And Tyrese Knight, really bad. 4 targets, 35 yards. Need a little better than that. Ty Okada, he shouldn't be out there, but you can see the abuse. And of course, Reek Woolen, 2 penalties, 4 targets, 73 yards, including the game-winning touchdown, including the 2 biggest plays of the game. Like, what are we doing here? This is another guy in a contract year. And I'm sorry. You deserve everything they're going to say about you this week, Woolen. Nothing else to say. Special teams, nothing really stands out. Julian Love got a great grade by default. Of course he did. And A.J. Barner and Kobe Bryant, Halani, Brady Russell, those were your other top performers. Some of the guys at the bottom. I don't think anybody on special teams did anything terrible this week, but there were some guys near the bottom here. Mike Morris, Chaz Surratt, De'Arion Kendrick, Josh Jobe, Pritchett. Not a lot you can learn here, I don't think. Of course, Love's going to get a great grade when he blocks a field goal. And that's it for this week, guys. Let me know what you guys think down below. See you guys later. Go Hawks. More stuff soon.